Beauty Herald's heels echoed through Horizon Financial's marble lobby as security guards escorted her out. Cameras flashed, capturing her humiliation. The empire she built from nothing, seized in a single morning. "This isn't over," she whispered, locking eyes with Victor Judge watching from the penthouse window. What Beauty didn't see was Sam Reynolds, her head of security, silently removing his company badge and following her out. Have you ever lost everything only to discover what truly matters? Beauty Herald arrived in America at 19 with nothing but determination and a brilliant financial mind. Within a decade, she transformed from a bank teller to founding Horizon Financial, now the country's fastest-growing investment bank. Her signature was turning failing businesses into thriving enterprises, earning her the nickname the Resurrectionist in financial circles. Forbes called her the immigrant who redefined American banking. What the glossy profiles missed was her solitude. Beauty's childhood in poverty taught her harsh lessons about trust. Her first investor, also her fiancé, had stolen her business plan and launched without her. She clawed her way back, vowing never to be vulnerable again. At 38, she lived in a penthouse with views of the city she conquered, but dined alone most nights. Her assistant knew her coffee order, but not her birthday. The board respected her brilliance, but feared her perfectionism. Only in rare, unguarded moments, like when she anonymously funded scholarships for immigrant students, did glimpses of her true self emerge. Beauty had built impenetrable walls around her heart, never suspecting that losing everything would be the key to finding something she never knew she wanted. Sam Reynolds moved through Horizon Financial like a shadow, observing everything while remaining nearly invisible. The former military intelligence officer had spent 3 years as Beauty's head of security after uncovering a sophisticated hacking attempt that would have cost the bank millions. Beauty had personally hired him, impressed by his methodical mind and uncompromising ethics. What she didn't know was that Sam had studied her career long before they met, admiring how she transformed banking security protocols industry-wide. At 40, Sam carried the quiet confidence of someone who'd survived real danger. His divorce 5 years earlier had left him married to his work. His ex-wife's parting words about his emotional unavailability still echoing in quiet moments. From his security command center, Sam watched Beauty through surveillance feeds and meeting room glass. He noticed things others missed, how she straightened her already perfect posture before difficult meetings, her genuine smile when janitors greeted her by name, the late nights when she thought no one was watching. Sam kept his admiration strictly professional. In his world, clear boundaries meant survival. He never imagined that crossing those lines would soon become their only hope for justice. Victor Judge had once been Beauty's greatest champion. 20 years her senior, he'd spotted her talent when she was still processing loan applications, becoming the mentor who introduced her to the right investors and boardrooms. What began as genuine admiration curdled into resentment as Beauty's star rose while his plateaued. The financial press that once quoted banking legend Victor Judge now called him Beauty Herald's early supporter, a footnote in her success story. Behind his Seville rose suits and practiced charm lurked dangerous secrets. Victor's gambling addiction had progressed from high-stakes poker to increasingly desperate bets on volatile markets. His personal accounts were empty. His creditors were not the forgiving type. He'd cultivated the board carefully over months, planting doubts about Beauty's decisions, suggesting her immigrant background made her culturally misaligned with traditional banking values. Each whispered concern was a chess move toward this moment. Victor kept the bank's most conservative board members close, exploiting their discomfort with a woman who refused to play by old rules. His plan wasn't just to remove Beauty. It was to dismantle her legacy piece by piece, selling off Horizon's assets to cover his mounting debts. What Victor never calculated was Sam Reynolds watching from the shadows. Beauty first noticed the discrepancies 3 weeks before her ousting. Unusual transfers through offshore accounts, approval signatures that didn't match their digital records. Small irregularities that formed a disturbing pattern when viewed together. "Someone's siphoning funds," she told Sam in her office after hours, blinds drawn, and covering their tracks expertly. Sam reviewed her evidence, his expression darkening. This is Victor's fingerprints all over it. The timing of these transfers aligns perfectly with his trips to Macau. I need absolute proof before taking this to the board, Beauty said. He mentored half of them. They won't believe me without irrefutable evidence. What neither realized was that Victor had already poisoned the well. For weeks, he'd been meeting privately with board members, fabricating evidence of Beauty's reckless expansion plans and questionable personal investments. The morning of the quarterly board meeting, Beauty arrived early to prepare her presentation on irregularities. Her executive assistant Marcus, hired by Victor before Beauty took over, had rescheduled the meeting for 9 a.m. instead of the usual 10 a.m. Beauty didn't think twice about it. She entered the boardroom to find all 12 members already seated. Victor sat at the head of the table. Her seat. Beauty, please sit. Victor gestured to a lone chair facing the board. We've been discussing some concerning developments. The next 40 minutes unfolded like a meticulously orchestrated ambush. Victor presented doctored emails showing Beauty approving questionable investments, fabricated recordings of her threatening employees, and manufactured evidence of her diverting company funds to personal accounts. These are lies, Beauty said, her voice steady despite her racing heart. I can disprove every accusation. The evidence is overwhelming, said Eleanor Winters, the board's oldest member. We've already voted. Effective immediately, you are removed as CEO of Horizon Financial. Security guards appeared at the door, not Sam's team, but private contractors Beauty had never seen. From the security command center, Sam watched in disbelief as the feed showed Beauty being escorted out. He immediately accessed a secure server where she'd stored evidence against Victor, only to find the files corrupted. When Victor's new head of security entered to demand Sam's badge and clearance, Sam made his decision instantly. I resign, he said, placing his badge on the desk and walking out, already planning his next move. Beauty maintained perfect composure until her penthouse door closed behind her. Then, like a building with its foundation suddenly removed, she collapsed. The empire she'd built from nothing, stolen in a single morning. She hurled her phone against the wall when it buzzed with news alerts. Harold ousted amid fraud allegations. Victor had wasted no time leaking the story. The security panel by her door chimed at 9 p.m. The lobby camera showed Sam Reynolds, still in his suit, but without his usual earpiece. What do you want? Beauty's voice was hoarse through the intercom. To help you fight back, Sam replied simply. Something in his steady gaze made her buzz him up. Why would you help me? Beauty demanded when he entered. You've lost your job because of me. I resigned, Sam corrected. And I'm here because what happened today wasn't just wrong. It was criminal. Beauty studied him, really seeing him for perhaps the first time. You believe me. I know you, Sam said. 3 years watching how you operate. You're many things, Ms. Harold, demanding, exacting, sometimes terrifying, but you're not dishonest. A surprised laugh escaped her. Terrifying? In the best possible way, he said with a ghostly smile. Beauty gestured to her dining table, covered with financial documents. I've been trying to piece together Victor's scheme. The evidence we had is gone. Not all of it. Sam pulled a flash drive from his pocket. I've been making backups since you first mentioned your concerns. For the first time that day, hope flickered in Beauty's eyes. They worked through the night, Beauty explaining complex financial maneuvers while Sam connected them to Victor's movements. By dawn, they had outlined Victor's entire scheme, how he'd been covering gambling debts with company funds, planning to sell off Horizon's most valuable assets. As sunrise painted her penthouse gold, Beauty realized something had fundamentally shifted. The careful distance she maintained with everyone had vanished with Sam. Here was someone seeing her at her most vulnerable, defeated, exhausted, hair falling from its perfect chignon, yet looking at her with unwavering respect. We're going to take back your bank, Sam said with quiet certainty. Beauty nodded. We are. Beauty's penthouse transformed into their war room. Financial statements covered every surface. Laptop screens displayed surveillance footage, and takeout containers marked the passing days. They worked in seamless tandem, Beauty decoding financial trails, while Sam mapped Victor's movements and communications. He's liquidating assets faster than I expected, Beauty said on their third night, rubbing her temples. At this rate, Horizon will be gutted within 2 weeks. Sam handed her a cup of tea. He noticed she preferred it to coffee after 8 p.m. We've identified 6 board members who might listen if presented with concrete evidence. Eleanor Winters particularly. She values her reputation above everything. Beauty looked up, surprised. How do you know Eleanor so well? Part of my job was assessing potential security risks, including who might be susceptible to blackmail or bribery, Sam explained. I study people. What did you assess about me? Beauty asked, suddenly curious. Sam hesitated. That you're brilliant but isolated. That you trust systems more than people. That you work until 10 p.m. every Tuesday but leave by 6 on Fridays to visit your mother in Queens, though you tell everyone you have standing dinner reservations at 11 Madison Park. Beauty stared at him, feeling strangely exposed. You've been watching me. Protecting you, he corrected gently. Something electric passed between them, interrupted by Sam's burner phone ringing. His contact at Horizon was calling with news. Victor had scheduled an emergency board meeting for Friday to approve selling the bank's asset management division. That's our deadline, Beauty said after he hung up. We move before Friday. Later that night, Sam's security contacts reported Victor's men were asking questions about Beauty's whereabouts. By morning, suspicious cars were parked outside her building. They found us, Sam said, closing the blinds. We need to move. They were gathering essential evidence when the security panel chimed, the building's front desk announcing visitors claiming to be NYPD financial crimes detectives. Victor's men, Sam whispered, recognizing the deception. They escaped through the service elevator, Sam leading Beauty through the basement garage with her financial evidence in a backpack. As footsteps echoed behind them, Sam pulled her behind a concrete pillar, their bodies pressed together in the narrow space. Beauty's heart raced, though whether from danger or proximity was unclear. Sam's eyes met hers, his hand still protectively on her waist. The moment crystallized between them. Then Sam leaned forward and kissed her, brief but unmistakably intentional. I've wanted to do that for 3 years, he admitted quietly. Beauty surprised herself by pulling him back for a second kiss. We should go, she whispered against his lips. Definitely, he agreed, but neither moved for several heartbeats. They relocated to a boutique hotel under false names, continuing their investigation with renewed urgency, and an undercurrent of tension neither acknowledged directly. Their breakthrough came when Beauty recognized a pattern in Victor's trading activity coinciding with his trips to Macau. We need access to the trading floor records from last quarter, Beauty said. Only Diane in compliance can retrieve those without triggering alerts. Diane had been Beauty's first hire at Horizon, her loyalty seemingly unquestionable. Sam made contact through secure channels, and Diane agreed to meet at a cafe near Central Park. Something feels off, Sam said as they watched Diane enter the cafe, checking her watch repeatedly. Beauty dismissed his concerns. Diane has been with me since day one. But when they approached her table, Diane's eyes widened with panic. She stood abruptly, knocking over her chair. I'm sorry, Beauty. He threatened my family. Before they could react, Victor's security team converged from all directions. Sam grabbed Beauty's hand, pulling her through the kitchen and out the back alley, narrowly escaping. In their hotel room, Beauty paced furiously. I trusted her completely. Victor found her pressure point, Sam said. Everyone has won. Even you? Beauty challenged, still raw from the betrayal. Yes, Sam admitted quietly. Even me. Their first real argument erupted, Beauty's trust issues colliding with Sam's protective instincts. Words were exchanged that couldn't be taken back, culminating in Beauty's devastating accusation. Maybe you're working for him too. Sam's expression hardened. If that's what you think, I'll go. The door closed behind him with devastating finality, leaving Beauty alone with the realization that she just pushed away the one person she'd begun to trust. Beauty spent 3 hours alone, alternating between anger and regret. When her hotel room door finally opened, she was already speaking. I was wrong. I'm sorry. Sam stood in the doorway, rain-soaked but resolute. I went to verify something. He placed a folder on the table. Victor's planning to transfer ownership of your core banking division tomorrow night, not Friday. We have less than 24 hours. Their reconciliation was wordless but complete, the mission taking precedence over personal wounds. They worked through the night, Beauty reaching out to her network of loyal employees still inside Horizon. Lisa in IT can give us temporary access to the security systems, Beauty said. James from legal still has boardroom keys. Sam outlined their infiltration plan. We entered during the cleaning crew changeover at 9 p.m. Lisa will loop the security cameras for exactly 12 minutes. That gets us to the executive floor. Once there, I can access the financial records proving Victor's embezzlement from my private terminal. Beauty continued. The terminal requires both retinal scan and voice authentication, something Victor hasn't been able to bypass. They mapped every step, accounting for contingencies, identifying escape routes. As dawn approached, the plan was set. They would have one chance to expose Victor before he dismantled everything Beauty had built. In the quiet hours before sleep, sitting side by side on the hotel room floor surrounded by building schematics, Sam finally asked a question that had been hanging between them. What happens after? If we succeed? Beauty had built her life around Horizon, never considering a future beyond it. But looking at Sam, steady, principled Sam who'd risked everything for justice, she glimpsed a different possibility. I don't know, she admitted, but I'd like to find out. With you. Sam took her hand, their fingers intertwining. Then we'd better win. That night, for the first time in years, Beauty slept peacefully, her head on Sam's shoulder, their battle plans spread around them like fallen leaves. The Horizon Financial Building gleamed like a silver monolith against the night sky as Beauty and Sam approached through light rain. Beauty wore a cleaner's uniform, her hair hidden under a cap. Sam carried maintenance equipment, concealing their evidence and tools. Security cameras loop in 3, 2, 1 now, Sam whispered. Check his watch as they entered through the service entrance. Lisa from IT had kept her promise. They moved with practiced precision through service corridors, Sam leading with the confidence of someone who had studied every inch of the building. At the executive elevator, James from legal waited with his key card. Board meetings started early, James murmured, handing Beauty a USB drive. Victor's pushing the transfer through tonight. They're all still upstairs. The plan instantly shifted from evidence retrieval to direct confrontation. Beauty's eyes met Sam's, a silent question passing between them. We adjust, Sam said simply, squeezing her hand. The executive floor was eerily quiet when they emerged from the elevator. Through glass walls, they could see the boardroom illuminated at the end of the hall. Victor standing at the head of the table, board members reviewing documents. My office first, Beauty whispered. I need those files. They were halfway there when the elevator chimed behind them. Victor's new security chief stepped out, immediately spotting them. Hey, stop. Sam pushed Beauty forward. Go. I'll handle this. Beauty ran toward her office as Sam engaged the security chief. Through the glass, she glimpsed their violent struggle before focusing on her mission. Her private terminal awakened at her retinal scan and voice command, revealing the hidden files Victor hadn't been able to erase. When she emerged with the evidence, Sam was nowhere in sight. A trail of blood droplets led toward the boardroom. Heart pounding, Beauty followed it. She pushed open the boardroom doors to find chaos. Sam bleeding from a cut above his eye, restraining Victor's security chief, while Victor himself stood frozen mid-sentence, staring at her as if seeing a ghost. Beauty Herald, Eleanor Winters gasped. What is the meaning of this intrusion? Beauty stepped forward, radiating the authority that had built Horizon from nothing. I'm here to prevent you from making a catastrophic mistake. She connected her drive to the boardroom display. And to show you exactly who Victor Judge really is. Financial records filled the screen. Irrefutable evidence of Victor's embezzlement, his gambling debts, his plans to strip Horizon's assets. Victor lunged for her, but Sam intercepted him, pinning him against the wall despite his own injuries. You're finished, Beauty told Victor quietly, and I'm taking back what's mine. Dawn broke over the city as the last police car departed Horizon Financial. Victor Judge had been led away in handcuffs, his carefully constructed facade shattered by the evidence Beauty and Sam had presented. The board members, shaken by their near complicity in Victor's scheme, had unanimously voted to reinstate Beauty as CEO. Beauty stood at her office window, watching the city awaken. The bank she'd built was hers again. Sam entered quietly, his cut now properly bandaged. "The board wants to meet this afternoon to discuss damage control," he said, "and they've approved a full security overhaul under your direction." Beauty turned to him. "They've also approved a new executive position, Chief of Strategic Security. It's yours if you want it." Sam studied her face. "Working directly under you?" "That's the traditional structure," Beauty acknowledged. "I can't accept it," Sam said gently. Beauty felt an unexpected pang. "You're leaving?" "I'm starting my own security firm," he clarified. "And if Horizon wants to be my first client, I'd be honored, but as an equal partner, not an employee." Understanding dawned in Beauty's eyes. After everything they'd been through, returning to their former dynamic was impossible. What had grown between them required balance, not hierarchy. "Partners," she agreed, extending her hand formally. Sam took it, but instead of shaking, he pulled her closer. In all things, Beauty Harold, who had spent a lifetime keeping people at arm's length, closed a final distance between them. In all things. 3 months later, Horizon Financial announced record growth under Beauty Harold's renewed leadership. The same day, without fanfare, Beauty and Sam danced alone in the boardroom where they confronted Victor. Her in stocking feet, him humming softly against her hair. "We should probably get back to work," Beauty murmured, making no move to step away. Sam smiled against her temple. "We are exactly where we need to be." In the world of high finance, Beauty Harold had built walls around her heart, believing vulnerability was weakness. Sam Reynolds had maintained professional distance, convinced that boundaries meant safety. Both were wrong. Their journey reveals that true strength comes not from isolation, but connection, from finding someone who sees your broken edges and stands beside you. The greatest risk isn't in trusting others. It's in never giving trust a chance. For in that leap of faith lies the possibility of finding not just an ally, but a home. Has betrayal ever led you unexpectedly to something beautiful? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. If Beauty and Sam's journey from professional distance to profound connection resonated with you, give this video a thumbs up so others can discover it too. For more stories that explore how love emerges in the most challenging circumstances, subscribe to Zenith Inspiring Stories. We bring you powerful narratives of resilience and redemption,